we, dole out all kinds of responsibilities to a group of people, and some of them even have to dole it out to others for a month and say, hey, I need you to train this person on this machine, and that can we get this done within this month, da 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 da, and then following up. And I think this is where most veterinary staffs and managers fall, is that you don't have an action item of like the follow-up step.
Thank you, Dr. Drake, for joining on another video here. Today, just really wanted to focus on, managing staff performance, accountability, and effective resource utilization within the practice. Looking at your experience, since 1992 as a practice owner, how did you really manage staff performance? Because I say this in the nicest way, that's a lot of years of, staff performance and tracking
Right.
things.
Yeah.
And how did you hold employees accountable?
Great question. Pretty involved question, but certainly I think make the expectation clear of what it is that their job is. And that job may change as time goes on. And so again, starting out with just having myself and 3 to 4 employees, it's just meeting with them on a regular basis and being like, heck, I'm just a writer. Like, hey, I need you to do this too, and this wasn't getting done. Or, is this something that's better for you to do? Like, it was just constantly staying on top of that. And then, we're so small that I could be like, hey, you didn't get that done, like whatever. I'm the person who doesn't have any like anger about it or resentment. I just say, hey, we didn't get that done, or hey, you're late today, or whatever, just holding people constantly accountable for everything I need them to do. And then, looking at them as professionals and that we're all working together for best patient care and client service, right? That's our very specific mission of our hospital always. And so we all know that's what we're trying to accomplish. So we have to have somebody doing all the different jobs, and they have to do it well in order for us to do this well. So I would say as a smaller business, it was, very personal and, like on a regular basis. Certainly had performance reviews twice a year, just touch-in basis of, hey, this is where we are, and I need you to add these other tasks on, and performance review of where they are. But I think the most important thing is just making expectations really clear. And then if we make a plan to get something done, is that make sure you follow up on that in a month, like constantly. So, the system that we use now for running our businesses, we use traction system because we're big now. We have to have systems in place. And so we, dole out all kinds of responsibilities to a group of people, and some of them even have to dole it out to others for a month and say, hey, I need you to train this person on this machine, and that can we get this done within this month, da 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 da, and then following up. And I think this is where most veterinary staffs and managers fall, is that you don't have an action item of like the follow-up step. And if you don't have the follow-up step, so time and energy can just get sucked away from you, and you will not get those things accomplished. So it's actually following up. So it's not as if someone didn't get it done and we know, hey, we lost one staff member and you had to step up. Oh yeah, totally. Okay, well, when do we think we can get this done now? Well, we're going to get her hired. It'll probably be 2 months now. Okay, that's cool. So it's not as if we're ogres about it. It's more just like staying on top of it to make sure these projects or whatever it is we're trying to accomplish get done.
Perfect. Awesome. Yeah, it's an involved, right, process, and it is important because humans are complicated,
Yeah,
and
humans are
we do
complicated.
need these systems to be held
Yeah.
accountable. And there's a lot of times too where and we even see it on our own staff where not a lot of people ask for help, right? If there's any shortcomings that they need assistance on, you almost need to kind of go out and find it. And if you don't have
Yeah,
the
and
systems in
I
place.
I tell my team, I'm like, you're professionals. I don't know what you have going on in your own little world of technician or receptionist. So if what I've asked you to do is too much, then you need to let me know, because how would I know otherwise, And don't get resentful about it. Just like be a professional and say, hey, this is more than I can manage right now. I can get these 2 things done, but not this one. Maybe I think I can, but I wasn't able to. That's okay. I always have the best. I believe in the best of people always, and they're doing their very best. And if they can't get it done, there's probably a good reason for it. But I want to know what it is, so then we can say, hey, should we hand this off to someone else? Do we need to get someone else to take something else off your plate so you can get this accomplished? Like, let's have that communication. And that's what you need to do on a monthly basis, or else you will not progress. And that requires a lot of discipline.
And is that something that you were doing out the gate when your practice opened, or is that something that you figured out over time?
Well, it became a more complicated system the larger we got. But from the very beginning, I met with my staff, and again, I needed them to know where I was going. I needed their input and their help in it, and then I needed them to do certain things because I can't do everything. So if you aren't meeting on a regular basis and you write it down, like you're going to do those two things, you're doing those two things, I'm working on this, and then we're following up, and then also monitoring our progress. Like, how are we doing with, you know, with whatever it is we're trying to accomplish, like what are the markers we're using to make sure that those things are that we're progressing. So it's utilizing all these tools. And again, having a veterinary accounting company and a veterinary bookkeeper like helps us to look at the numbers. Are we impacting the numbers as well? Which, because we do need to do that. There's lots of tools that also just help you to manage your hospital, but having your team be accountable for doing certain tasks is imperative.
And how do you ensure that resources are being utilized efficiently? So that could be maybe a new medication, a new way to talk to clients, or asking for reviews. How did you ensure or track that people are utilizing new resources that are available to them within the practice?
So one thing to remember is that it takes people, like many people, uh, up to 7 times to hear something to change their behavior. So if you're switching over to a new medication, like I would start like 3 months before I even launch the medication, especially when you're talking about like flea and tick products that we use a lot. If I'm switching over, like I'll start 3 minutes before I even offer it to the client, because I feel like they need to hear it like 3 times, and we have to walk through like the how are we going to switch from this product to this one. Like I need the whole team to buy in, and then after we do that, we're going to like still be talking about it monthly. So not like a long protracted discussion, but like, hey, how are we doing with that? Is there any pushback? Are there any things we need? So in order to do that, you need to stay on top of it and just keep it on your list of things to do until you feel like that behavior has changed and we are now doing this correctly. Or if we're changing how we discuss preventative care with clients in the exam room, I'll actually ask the team, did you talk about this? Did you ask about lab work? Did you do this? So I'll just have a quick check before I go into the exam room with client to make sure that this staff person is also doing what we asked them to do. And if it keeps going on that they're not, then I'm going to have a talk with them individually, like, hey, this is what we need you to do, like everyone else, because we all need to be aligned on the same page. So it's staying on top of it. It does require a lot of energy to do this. And so I always tell people, as the owner or the leaders of the practice, you need to take care of yourself, because you will constantly need to be the energy behind change and progress. And if you don't take care of yourself, then it's impossible to do that well.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your insight, Dr. Drake. Besides these YouTube videos, is there another place where people could get some more of your insights, maybe
Good
in a
that
written
you
form?
asked that question. So I did write a book with the help of some of the Genius Vets team and putting it together. It's a book on all the things that I talk about on basically how to run a veterinary hospital. I call it the veterinary practice operating system. It's a leadership book. It really talks to all the leaders on the team and coming together and how they can progress their hospital to reach its potential. It's coming out at the end of December, I believe. So you can find it on Amazon.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Very excited to read that book. And I'll add the link to the Amazon in the bio here. So keep an eye out for it. And thank you so much for joining on this video.
You're welcome.